Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Chelsea Fan TV and welcome to another live show, another day in the circus, you could say, that is Chelsea Football Club at this point in time. Big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing the likes. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And as always, make sure you are getting involved in the live chat, guys. There is loads to dive into. As always, we've got the latest on the protests. We've got the latest in regards to the sporting directors retaining the full backing of the Chelsea ownership. We've also got news on when Enzo Maresca is going to have a Maurizio Pochettino style performance-based review. And there's also news coming out in regards to contracts that Cole Palmer and others, there are no exit clauses in their contracts relating to not qualifying for the Champions League, which is quite good news for us in that aspect. At least there's no cheap way out. It doesn't mean that these players won't leave the football club, but it does mean if they look to force their way out potentially, then Chelsea will be able to get a decent sized fee. So there we go. Let's say hello to a few people and then we're going to dive into proceedings. We've got to go back to winning ways soon. Bro, you can say that again. Yes, big up, brother. What's the point in reviewing his performance in 2026? Yeah, bro, absolutely hear you. We're going to dive into this. The way we're performing terrible is the goalkeeper should be dropped and not. Yeah, no, he's not going to play anymore. I don't think. Getting rid of our quality players like Vega is outstanding season and getting rid of Felix too. Felix wanted to go. The issue wasn't getting rid of Felix. The issue was not bringing a replacement in. Blue coat out. Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, guys, let's just get straight into this then. Let's get straight into this, people. And let's start with the Enzo Maresca performance-based review. Let's begin with that because The Athletic have done a deep dive. Well, I say a deep dive. They've put a piece out today talking about Enzo Maresca, how the club feel about him. And this is the first point that I wanted to go through. So what we're saying here is that the next Pochettino-style review, led by Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart, has always been projected to take place in the summer of 2026, and there is no appetite to bring that forward. So, according to The Athletic, and obviously they would have been informed by people at the club, that this very much makes it sound like that regardless of what happens this season, Enzo Maresca would seemingly be here next year. Now, I'm not calling for the manager to go, but you have to raise the question. If Maresca doesn't qualify for the Champions League, which would be an unmitigated failure and a disaster, then why should he still be the Chelsea manager? Because if you sacked Pochettino for not qualifying for the Champions League, why 12 months later are you then saying it's okay to not qualify for the Champions League and this manager would keep his job? I don't want the manager to go. I don't want to go for another managerial hunt. I don't want to have a new manager in the dugout next season. But by the very standards you set by getting rid of Pochettino, why are you seemingly going to keep Maresca if he doesn't qualify for the Champions League? The target was top 4 under Pochettino. Why is the target seemingly now not top 4 under Enzo Maresca? Why have the standards changed from last season to this season? Why is there less of an expectation this season? You know, this is what I don't understand. The bare minimum for Chelsea Football Club every single season, the absolute minimum expectation is you get Champions League football. So I don't care who you are. If you don't qualify for the Champions League, then you don't have a leg to stand on in terms of being at the football club. That's the way that I see it. I don't want managers to be sacked. I don't want managers to go. But if you're getting rid of a manager last season for not getting Champions League, but then 12 months later, you're going to keep a manager who might not get in the Champions League, then your thought process and the message that's being sent from the club is very, very confusing. I don't see the need for these performance-based reviews. You can quite clearly see how a manager's doing. Why do we need to sit down and have a conversation at the end of 2026? Ultimately, the intention is to keep the manager for more than one season. I want the manager to stay for more than one season. But if you are not hitting the bare minimum expectation, then you don't really deserve to be at the football club. Now, Maresca's still got 13 games or so in an attempt to try and turn this round. But as a bare minimum, you must be delivering Champions League football. And if you don't deliver Champions League football, I can have no complaints if you potentially get removed from your position because you haven't got a leg to stand on. You can talk about the poor allocation of funds in the squad. You can talk about a lack of options. But if you're telling me that you can't finish ahead of a Nottingham Forest or a Bournemouth, then what are we doing here? If you cannot finish ahead of Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth, then you don't deserve to be manager of this football club. That's the reality of the situation. It's as simple as that. So why you have these situations where a manager's position should be reviewed year on year. There shouldn't be a 2-year review into what he's doing. It should be year on year review. That's the way that it goes. You should be reviewed season by season. So this doesn't make sense to me. This is top level football. This is the Premier League. This is a massive football club. There's no free passes here. You don't hit minimum expectations, you need to go. Unless there are mitigating factors which have meant you're unable to get there. But even right now, our injury situation and the fact that we made the squad worse in January, I understand that. And that's unacceptable. But if you were telling me that Chelsea, with the squad that they've got at their disposal right now, over the course of a season, cannot finish above one of Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth, then that is a very, very sorry state of affairs. A very, very sorry state of affairs. That's unacceptable. Like, if we finish below Forest or Bournemouth, or dare I say both of them, I don't care what the targets were this season. You cannot stay as manager of Chelsea Football Club if you are not finishing above Bournemouth or Forest or both. I can't believe we're even having this conversation that we're talking about Chelsea trying to finish above Nottingham Forest or Bournemouth. It's madness. It is absolute madness, guys. What is going on right now? But what are you lot saying in the chat? Remember, we all said in the beginning of the season, top fours. Yeah, absolutely. Champions League football, bare minimum. If Champions League goes to fifth and we come fifth, we take it. Champions League or bust is this season. Sure, I understand they're trying to buy themselves time and whatnot. I get that. If Enzo Maresca gets sacked, they'll... Yeah, of course they will. This is my point as well. This is why I'm not calling for the manager to be sacked, but it wouldn't make sense to not sack the manager from their perspective when you sacked the last manager for not reaching the top four. So how can this manager's expectations be any different? That's the point that I'm trying to make. Yes, up the Chelsea. No, we're repping a little PSG fourth kit. It is what it is. I wear other teams' shirts. I would never ever wear another Premier League team shirt. But yeah, if you just chill in around the house and whatnot, I've got no issues with wearing it, whether it's a PSG or a Juventus or a fucking whatever it might be, a Bayern Munich or whatever. Obviously, I don't support these teams, but this PSG fourth kit is a nice shirt, so why not? Enzo knows this model is not for football. No, man. Yeah, bro, I tend to agree with you on that point. I see it. I think it is very, very difficult for any manager to succeed in this current environment under this current model. I see it very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. Bluco out, fair enough. I'm everyone out at Chelsea, even most of the players. Unfortunately, yeah, look, I hear that, but we have to be honest here. Everyone's not leaving. So some adjustments need to be made, but we need to accept that unfortunately is not going to happen. Yeah, I will be there. I will be there. Hopefully, you know, it's a good turnout. It needs to be a good turnout. Look, I don't believe the manager needs to go. I'm certainly not at that point. But as I've been saying, you know, regardless of the circumstances, if you can't finish above Forest or Bournemouth and you fail to get Champions League and you got rid of the last manager for not getting into the Champions League, then by that definition, you have to go. Yeah, he did take us to Wembley twice, and the performance in the cups from Maresca this season has been completely and utterly unacceptable, guys. Completely and utterly unacceptable from Maresca this season in the cups. But what people must also remember is that this time last year we were mid-table. Yes, we're on a poor run right now, and yes, we're going backwards. And you know what? Maybe we might finish below sixth, and it might be worse than last season. But right now, no one can tell me that we are not in a better position than we were last season, because we were mid-table last season. I don't know where we're going to finish, guys. And we could finish worse than last season, and therefore it would be a worse season. Absolutely no getting away from that. But right now, at this point in time, we are in a considerably better position than we were this time last year. Sure, you know, we're not playing good football. Sure, we're struggling. But I tell you what, I'd rather be sixth and 1 point outside of the top four than mid-table at this point last season. Oh, but we're still in the cups. The cups were unacceptable from us. But let's not get away from the fact that everyone would have taken this position pretty much a point outside the top four in the middle of February. Let's be honest here. You know, you can't say that we are in a worse position when we're 12th. Like when we're mid-table this point last year. I don't know where we're finishing, guys. We could finish in a lower position, sure. But right now, we're in a better position than we were this time last year. Okay, admittedly, we had a Carabao Cup semi-final and final and whatnot, and we made FA Cup semi-final. Sure, I understand that, and that's a fair point. If Enzo Maresca gets sacked, yeah, no, I hear that. Why invert and stick to the same? Yeah, no, brother, I hear you on this, and this is where the gaffer's got to do better. You know, you've got limited options at your disposal, but what you're doing right now is not working, and you need to try something different. You need to try something different. If I see Nkunku again as a number 9 on Saturday against Villa, I know that you're not serious. I know that you're not interested in trying to get us back to winning ways, because if you play Nkunku again as a 9, that shows that you're not interested. That shows that you're not interested in us becoming a serious football team again and getting back to winning ways. You have got to do something different. I get it. This new breed of manager is very stubborn. It's plan A and there's nothing else. If I see Nkunku as a 9 and we just do exactly the same as what we've done for the last 2 games, I'm going to be looking at the manager and I'm going to be asking serious questions about you if you just continue to do the same thing and expect different results. Sure, yes, if we're talking, you know, yes, I'd rather win a Champions League than finish in the top 4. Yeah, I get that. But if you're telling me a Carabao Cup will get Chelsea back in the Champions League, respectfully, as much as I'd want the Carabao Cup, I want us back in the Champions League football. You know, I want us back in the Champions League football. We've got to try something different, whether it's Neto, whether it's Palmer, whether it's Sancho. Someone different needs to be up there, and something different needs to be tried as soon as possible. Must be tried as soon as possible. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. You know? Simple as that. So yeah, and this is what we need to do, guys. Don't want Maresca out, but he's clearly lost. I don't think he's lost the dressing room. I think it's way too early to say that. Look, the body language did not look good on the pitch against Brighton. I fully hear that, but we've seen managers that have lost the dressing room in the past at Chelsea. I don't believe he has right now lost the dressing room. Look, we need more senior players, and this is the point here. Any manager, in my opinion, would be struggling right now. Any manager right now would be struggling under this current situation. Any manager. And so this is not you know, this is not good enough. But any manager would be struggling, guys. Even Joao Felix could have the chance. Yeah, he could have been an option there. Could have been an option, but he's gone. I mean, he didn't bring anyone in. Yeah, bro, it happens. It happens. You know, it is what it is at the end of the day. You know, you can't guarantee any wins in football. You can't guarantee any wins, but that's my brother. That's my guy. We are too Yeah, we are. We're way too easy to play against. We're going to have loads of the ball. We're going to do it. We're going to do nothing with it. We're going to give up some chances and make mistakes at the back. You know, that's it. But no one. But this is the point again. Bro, look, I understand that, but what we need to realize is we're not going in. They're not going anywhere. They unfortunately they're not going anywhere. You know, look at the way that United have been trying to get the Glazers out. They haven't. Look at the way that Arsenal have tried to get the Cronkies out. Look at the way that Tottenham have been trying to get Levy out. They don't care. They do not care. That's the reality here. So we have to, as a fan base, come together and unite with a message. And you need to be persistent with the message. You need to have a united front. You need to be respectful in the way that you get your message across. Everyone needs to be pulling in the same direction. Everyone needs to be spreading the same message. I'm sure a load of you have seen that clip from TalkSport today. An absolute car crash, an embarrassment. You know, a Chelsea fan with good intentions going on to try and speak about the protest starts talking about finances and starts talking about loaded debt and starts getting into a conversation about football finances and whatnot and Roman Abramovich, which is completely missing the point and makes a complete mockery of the fan base and makes a complete mockery of what's trying to be done here. You know, this is my point. You need a united front, guys. If something's gonna work, everyone's got to be pulling in the same direction. And right now, it feels like they aren't. Right now, it feels like they aren't. It feels like there's mixed messages. It feels like a lot of people don't actually know what they're protesting about. You know, this is the reality here. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. There's no proof that he might not be the right guy. You know, he might not be. There's no proof that he's going to be, but there's no proof that any manager is going to be the right guy. You know? And this is where we are, guys. I'm not confident against Villa. No, I'm not confident against Villa. He relegated Parma with Xerxes. I mean, I wasn't really across what he did at Parma. It didn't go particularly well. By the way, I'm not saying that he's the right manager. I'm not saying he's the right manager. I'm not saying that he's going to be the guy. But we need to stick with him for a bit. You know, we need to give him a chance to succeed. Again, from the same thing. Let's focus protest on the pitch. Let's focus protest on the pitch results. Not the protest is not about the results on the pitch. The protest is about the way the club's being run. You know, and that's the most important thing. This team needs our support. This is a group of young lads who are struggling right now, who need the support. By all means, go and do the protest outside. Make your feelings clear. But when you go into that stadium, you get behind that team because they need the support. They need it. I've got no idea, but when you go on these things, you have to be prepared. You have to come across with a point, and you need to make sure you don't get led astray. Public speaking is not easy. I'm not saying that I'm an amazing public speaker, but when you go on these things, you have to know what you're going to say, and you have to be clear and concise with your points. Do not go on national radio and the first thing you talk about is fucking finances. This is nothing to do with finances. This is to do the way the club is run. This is to do with the model. This is to do with the signing of no experienced players, no proven players, no leadership. This is to do with the constant flipping of players for profit. This is to do with actively choosing not to improve the first team. This is to do with the transfer windows. This is to do with a number of reasons. It is not to do with results on the pitch, and it is not to do with finances. These issues were here when we were second. These issues were here at the start of the season. These issues were here in the summer. These issues were here under Pochettino. These issues haven't just appeared because we're losing a couple of games, because we're losing a few games. These issues have been here, okay? And in my opinion, it would have been more powerful to have carried out this protest when we were second and when things were going well. Obviously, it's better late than never. Absolutely better late than never. But people need to understand what the point of the protest is. Nothing to do with on-pitch results. This is the problem with the large swathes of this fan base. This is the same fan base that against Southampton away and this is not everyone, by the way, but sections of the fan base that was chanting at Southampton away, "We've got our Chelsea back," are the same fans that are now chanting, "We want our Chelsea back." Can you not see why we don't come across as credible? Can you not see why people don't take us seriously? Because of stuff like this, because of stuff like that, the interview on national radio, because people don't know what they're talking about, because people are coming with baseless claims, because people are feeding into agendas, because people are taking what others say as gospel without doing any research whatsoever to back their claims, or without bringing any evidence to the table on said claims. You run the risk of looking very, very stupid and embarrassing the fan base and diminishing the impact of the protest when you go on platforms and you come unprepared and you bring baseless claims with no evidence. That's not helping anyone. And that's diminishing our credibility here, guys. It is. Absolutely got the best interest of the club at heart. Absolutely. But that was car crash. And that is the worry about wanting the media involved in these protests, because I can guarantee if this protest falls flat on its arse, which it could do, that clip is just going to be doing the rounds that we're not serious. That's the problem here, guys. That's the problem. That's it's not good. Sure. Look, I'm not saying that Maresca has got his players yet, but he's got enough players to qualify for the Champions League this season. There's still 13 games left. Let's hope that he can do it. But he is also being let down by the club. That is all. Both things can be true. He's being let down by the club and he needs to do better. Both those things are true. Bro, there was no Saudi bid. There was no Saudi bid. You know, we got down to the last 3 or 4, whatever they were. No Saudi bid. No Saudi bid whatsoever. It's not about managers, it's about direction. Agreed. They won't sell. So it's far easier and far more manageable to put pressure on them to adjust the model than it is to get them to sell. They're not selling. As I said, look at Glazers, look at Kroenkes, look at Levy. Look how long Tottenham, United, and Arsenal fan bases have been trying to get their ownerships out, and it's not happened. Chelsea fans are not going to get the ownership out in 3 years. Why would these guys sell in 3 years? They wouldn't. So that can be the message, but people don't need to understand that the chances of them thinking they can get these owners out is virtually zero. They don't care what we think. They don't care. You can put pressure on them, try and get them to change the model, try and get them to listen. That is a far more attainable goal than thinking you're going to get the ownership out. Because if you think that's going to happen, then a lot of the fans are going to be very, very disappointed. I believe in this protest. I believe in the right for fans to voice discontent. But if you're going there thinking the owners are going to leave, then you're going to be very, very disappointed. Very, very disappointed. It's both. They can't and they won't. It's both. Whatever way you want to look at it, then they're not leaving. Whatever way you want to look at it. Whatever way you want to look at it, because people make these claims, right, that, oh, they can definitely sell. But yet when you ask them for the evidence that they can do that, they give you no evidence. All they say is, oh, but no billionaires would tie themselves into something for 10 years. As if any fan knows what it's like to be a billionaire or knows what it's like to have the mindset of a billionaire. That is not evidence. Oh, no billionaire would tie themselves in for 10 years. So if there is evidence, because I've not found it, maybe I've not looked in the right places. So when people say they can sell, please bring me the information that says they can sell. And that's fine, no problem. But as of yet, every person I've asked for the information and the evidence that these guys can sell, they failed to provide me with the evidence and the information. And all they say is, oh, but no billionaires would do that, as if any of us have any ideas how billionaires think. So I'm all for debate and protest, and I absolutely want change at this football club, and I'll be supporting the protest. But guys, this is it. There is no direct evidence. This is the point, bro. I like Eunice, but if he's said like that, what he's saying is not true. That's the reality. It's not true. You know, you can repeat a message as much as you want. It doesn't make it true. If there's evidence, bro, then I should be able to Google it and find the evidence. And I've Googled it many times, and there's no evidence. There are very, very few people that would know whether they can sell or not. Now, unless you've got direct ties to a select group of very influential people in that Chelsea sale, then respectfully, anyone claiming that they can sell has got no idea whatsoever. There's no direct evidence they can't sell, but logically it makes sense that they could. Maybe so. It might make sense logically, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence. Bro, that's not evidence. Someone believing something is not evidence. And this is the point that I'm making. This is why it's dangerous when misinformation gets spread, because it's not telling the truth. He might think they can sell When you're saying they can sell and you're just basing it on your own opinion, that is coming across as evidence. And when you've got a massive platform, people are going to believe you. And so all I'm saying is, if you're going to make those claims, bring the evidence that proves that's the case, and that's fine, no problem. But if you cannot provide me with the evidence that proves that, then why are you saying it? Because it's spreading misinformation. And then when fans go and speak to media and stuff, when the media come to these protests and interview fans, and they're saying stuff, it's going to get absolutely picked apart because it's not true. Look, people can believe what they want. They can believe that that they can sell. They can believe that they can't sell. But at the end of the day, there's no evidence saying they can sell. There's no evidence. No one is showing me that evidence, guys. No one's showing me that evidence. If there's no evidence, if he can't provide evidence that proves it, then yes, then by definition he would be a liar. If he can provide the evidence, and the evidence is there to be seen, then no problem. No problem. But the fact that no one has seen this evidence suggests to me that there is no evidence, because I've been unable to find the evidence. So I'm not calling people liars, but if you're going to say something and there's no evidence to back it up, then you are lying. That's the reality. You know, I've not watched the video on said supposed evidence, right? But I'm pretty sure if there was evidence out there, it would be very, very easy to find it. Fans who put pressure on the sport directors, yeah. Those are the people that would know for absolute definite. Those are the people that would know for absolute definite. Look, mate, if you want to say they can, if you want to believe they can sell, that's absolutely fine. But this is the thing, right? When people disagree with someone's opinion, like, that doesn't mean that I'm blue coat in. I can want change at the football club and change in the hierarchy and change in the way that we're running things. But I can also accept that there is no evidence to say that they can sell. That doesn't mean that I want the ownership to stay. That's all I'm saying is when you're making when you're making a point, and when you're giving an opinion, and when you're trying to explain something, you have to be balanced in your view. I can want Blueco to go. I can want the model to change. I can want change at this football club. But I'm also not going to sit here and say this football club can sell, because I've got no evidence to support that claim. And because I'm not prepared to come on here and just make baseless claims, for you to then say that I'm Blueco in because I don't believe that they can sell, it is just a ridiculous thing to say. But and this highlights the point, is that I haven't got a problem with people spreading the word, with people wanting change. I want to influence some change as well. But when you've got people coming with baseless claims, with claims of no evidence, with accusations if you've got a different opinion to someone, that's when people lose all credibility. We're not unintelligent that we have to resort to baseless claims about brown envelopes and being paid by the club if someone's got a different opinion, or if someone is asking for evidence that they've not seen. You know, most of us are adults here, I presume. What's happened to having debate? What's happened to asking for evidence to support points? What's happened? Again, I've got no problem with people making these claims, but if you make a claim, you have to provide the evidence that says that. So, bro, put a link in the chat and I'll bring it up on screen if there's evidence. But if you're just presuming that, presumption is not evidence. It's not evidence. Come on, guys. We're better than this. We're better than this, guys. We all want the same thing. We all want change. We all want uh, the best for the football club. That's undeniable. Because if you look at the exactly this. Because there's plenty of articles out there. If you look at it, it explains. Is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing? Are we doing this brainwashed cult nonsense? Is this what we're doing? That we're resulting when people disagree with an opinion, or you get questioned on an opinion and challenged, and you can't provide the evidence, you accuse someone of being paid by the club. Bro, you're better than that. I don't know who you are. I don't know how old you are. I don't know what you do, but you're better than that. Is that the best you can do? You know, is that what we're doing here? Come on, we're better than this, and this is why we lose credibility as a fan base. We're better than this. You could be doing this for banter. I've got no idea, but we are better than this. You know, we all want what's best for Chelsea, but this is why we fall down as a fan base, because when people have got differing opinions, you get accused of being paid by the club. I don't know if this is banter or not, but people do actually seriously think that people are paid by the football club to say certain things. You know, I can guarantee that if I was being paid by the football club, look, whether you think they're trustworthy or not, whether you think there's an agenda from, again, those are opinions. Your opinion is they had an agenda. It doesn't mean there's no evidence that points towards an agenda. Okay, that is the evidence that suggests they can't sell. Now, if you want to say that is agenda worthy and they're not trustworthy, that's your opinion, but you can't prove that's the case. I've got absolutely no idea if that's the case or not, nor do I care if that's the case or not. If I was being paid by the football club, I would own it. I would own it. I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be doing whatever, you know, collecting my money from the football club and doing whatever. You know, the fact that anyone could accuse me of being paid is, yeah, but bro, you're not answering my question. Where's the evidence they can sell? You haven't got any evidence. You haven't got any evidence. Big up to Chelsea FC for the super chat. Thank you, brother. Yeah, but bro, I don't need to prove they can't sell. You need to prove to me they can sell, because there is evidence out there in those articles on Sky News and whatnot that says they don't. So that's very easy to find. But you're saying there's evidence they can sell. The reality is no one really knows. Oh, so that's PR now. So that's not evidence. Oh, okay, I see. Right, okay. So when I ask, so my evidence or whatnot is, my evidence is PR. But when I ask for your evidence, you can't give me any. But mine then turns out to be PR. Okay, interesting that we're going down. This is the route that we're going down. All I ask, guys, I respect everyone's opinions. Guys. No problem. But if you're going to disagree with my opinion, that's fine. Please bring me evidence to show me that my opinion's wrong. That's all I'm saying. I don't dislike anyone. I don't hate anyone in the chat. I don't fall out with people, whatever. You know, I'm very happy to I'm very happy to have conversations with people and debate things. No problem. We all wants what's best for the football club, and all I ask is that if you're going to make a claim, just bring some evidence. That's a very basic thing to do, and I don't think that's a big deal, guys. Look, at the end of the day, whether they would or do you really think whether they would or wouldn't? I don't care. But the reality is that people can choose to believe what they want to believe. I'm not trying to get anyone to change their opinion at the end of the day. I'll think what I want to think, and other people can think what they want to think. If they agree with me, fine. If they don't, no problem. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it at all. I'm not going to lose any sleep over it at all. That's not a problem. Just a question outside. If City beat City aren't playing PSG, but if City beat Real Madrid, do we get top? I don't know if it's purely dependent on that result. Bro, I've already stated the evidence. But this is the point. This is the point. You know, the fact that people are arguing about things. There's not a united front in the fan base. People can't even be united on the protest. You know, guys, if you want this to work, this needs to be put across in the right way. It needs to be put across in the right way with people pulling in in the right direction. You know, it needs to be a sensible protest for sensible change. Yeah, it does. It does. You need to be realistic with what you're looking to achieve here, because let's make it clear: one protest is not going to make them sell, and one protest is not going to make them change the model. But you can set the wheels in motion to getting to where you want to get to. That's the most important thing. If you can influence change to get them to buy some experience and get them to maybe question the sporting directors or whatever, then that is a positive outcome. But you're not going to get any tangible outcome from one protest. And it can't just be a one and done. This needs to be sustained pressure. And I just worry whether there's enough people that are actually prepared to back their chat and turn up when it matters. I hope that there are, and I hope that the fan base don't let us down here. I really do. I really do. But I think fan groups. Yeah, look, yeah, we need the supporters' trust. You need backing from the supporters' trust. It's interesting from what I can see, from what I've seen, there doesn't really seem to be any backing from the supporters' trust or the fan advisory board or anything like that. That would be helpful if there was backing from groups that actually have a direct line of contact to the club. That would be helpful. I mean, bro, if you're saying that you're a CST member, why is the supporters trust seemingly not commenting on this and the supporters trust behind this? Let me know. Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Because I believe in the right to protest, and I believe in in uh in getting change and trying to influence change. That's what I believe in. So I will be there. I will be there. People paid by the club will try and cancel this. Oh, look, no one's going to cancel the protest. You can't cancel a protest. Yeah, of course. Always best intentions for the club. I'm not putting any personal, I'm not using any platforms as for personal growth or anything like that. I want the best for the football club. I'll say how I feel, and if people agree or disagree, it's cool. No dramas whatsoever. the the protest is about trying to is about voicing a dissatisfaction at the way that the football club is being run, in the model, in the lack of experience, and the flipping players for profit, into not strengthening the squad, into the fact that we've invested all this money and we still lack the spine of a team. To mention just a few things. That's what it's about. It's not about results on the pitch. It's not about the manager. It's not about finances. It's not about any of those things. Big up for the super chat again. Okay, so it's not evidence because you don't believe it's authentic. And so it has to be verified by the Premier League as well. You're not going to find anything. You're not going to find anything verified by the Premier League. So, by your standards, you can't provide any evidence to back your point up either. Bro, it's not about ticket prices. This again reiterates my point, is that people don't know what this is about. This is not about ticket prices. This is not about ticket prices. Bro, there's no glory at Man United. Absolutely zero glory at Man United. Zero glory. Who sacked everyone? The owners who brought all these kids, who brought Potter. Yeah, I'm not saying the ownership aren't a problem. I've never once said that, because they absolutely are. Well, I could try. I mean, I don't know how possible that would be, or whether that would ever happen. I've got no idea. But certainly could reach out and try and make something happen. Because a lot of people don't. I'm not saying that everyone doesn't, but a lot of people don't. Some people are saying it's about ticket prices. Some people are saying it's about vivid seats. It's not about any of that. It's about trying to change the way that the club is run and to change the recruitment model. That's the driving force behind this. So, yes, some people do know what the protest is about, but there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that are confused on the reason for the protest, and so it's so important that we do have a united front on this and understand. That's what we have to do. But again, if you're referring to those clips that are on social media, yes, they did say those things about Brighton. But conveniently, and again, when you're formulating an argument, you need to be balanced. Okay. So I've seen those clips. If these are the clips that I believe that you're referring to about the Brighton model, about making money, etc., etc. But conveniently, from those clips, the bit where Egbali was talking about winning, that was left out. I'm not a massive fan of Egbali, but when you're when you're making a point and an argument and you're complaining about something, you have to be balanced and give the whole picture. Because just picking points that support what you're saying is not giving a valid argument. Okay, I've seen those clips and he said those things, but he also spoke about winning. Now, whether he does or doesn't want to win, I don't know. But when you're making an argument, guys, you need to be balanced and include all evidence. And the fact that bit about winning was left out to try and prove a point, it wasn't genuine. Yes, big up, Andrew. Certainly need to be united. I think after the protest, people will be more informed. Yeah, this is it. You've got to spread the message. Absolutely. You've got to keep on this. This is very much not a one and done. This needs to be something that carries on for the remainder of this season and into next season as well. And, you know, hopefully people are going to turn. But this is the most important thing. People need to turn up, because there'll be nothing more embarrassing than if we turn up to this, we get to this thing on Tuesday, and there's a poor turnout. Or if we win against Aston Villa, I'm not going to turn up to the protest because we've won a game and everything's fine. This is not based on results. If you're basing turning up to the protest on whether we beat Aston Villa on Saturday or not, then this is a big problem. This is a big problem. If that's what you're basing this on, because that is shambolic if that's the case. Oh, look, 3 years, no trophies and 6 managers is poor. It's poor. But I wouldn't use that as evidence they don't care about winning. I would use that as evidence as that the club's being run in the wrong way and they're making a lot of mistakes and they don't know what they're doing and they need to make changes. That's what I'd look at more of that as. I wouldn't look at that specific example and says that's the evidence they don't care about winning. Bro, I would agree with you. I see very little chance of us getting anything from the Aston Villa game. I really do. You know, I really do. I would be very surprised if we got anything from it. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we might pull a surprise out the bag. Maybe we might pull a surprise out the bag. Who knows? Let's wait and see. They said 4 windows, 100-point. Bro, they said 4 windows, and now they're saying the summer window is going to be an important one, which is the 6th window. These guys are constantly moving the goalposts. Constantly moving the goalposts. And yeah, and people are fed up of it. People are fed up of it. But yeah, what else was I going to cover? I'm going to go for another 5 minutes or so, guys. If you've got any questions, by the way, get them in the chat. And we can discuss some points. I wanted to go through the points about the contracts. Let's get to that. Let me get to that. Yeah, let's cover this briefly. Yeah, bro, this is the 4th kit. The 4th kit is yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice, I have to say. PSG is more of a fashion thing, though, isn't it? Jordan, fashion. I don't support PSG. No, why is Siri mugging me off? Yeah, no, bro, I hear that, and I absolutely, I agree with you. Let's just quickly bring this up. There's no release clause relating to the Champions League and Cole Palmer's contract, nor will Chelsea entertain offers. Palmer extended his stay at the start of the season, tying himself down for the next 9 years with improved terms as a reward. So there are seemingly no exit clauses in here. Let's have a quick look through. Well, he might not, but it depends how long he's prepared to give it. You know, it depends how long he's prepared to give it. Let's have a quick dive into this article and see what it's saying, guys. Right. Chelsea fans are naturally concerned what missing out on Champions League football would mean for their club, including whether they would be at risk of losing Cole Palmer. However, Mail Sport confirmed there is no release clause relating to Europe's elite competition in his contract, nor will Chelsea entertain offers for the 22-year-old. Palmer extended his stay at Stamford Bridge, yet we know that. Bowley is set to speak, by the way, in person at the Business of Football Summit in London on Thursday, February 27th. Confidence are refusing to say what he plans on discussing, specifically with the 25-minute interview to be conducted by the Financial Times' finance and markets editor Arash Masoodi. Possible topics include the recruitment model, working relationship with Clearlake, the future of Stamford Bridge, Enzo Maresca, the Premier League, and the Premier League's PSR rules. And also, just briefly on the Roman Abramovich sanctions, it was claimed earlier this month that the EU had officially amended its sanctions justification against Roman Abramovich, removing suggestions he financially benefited from the Russian government. That news was shared by Chelsea supporters across social media. However, following a check with the relevant authorities, we are told that claim is incorrect. So the sanctions haven't been downgraded. Yeah, we do. We absolutely do, bro. We absolutely do. And I criticise that. I criticised that heavily at the time. And you know the way the cups have been treated has absolutely been unacceptable. Absolutely been unacceptable, and a real disappointment. A real disappointment. I like Real Madrid, but if Man City going through helps fifth place gets Champions League in the Premier League, we need to take that. We need to take it. We need to take it. So yeah, look, I'd like City to go through purely based on the fact I want as much help possible in getting fifth place Champions League. We must. Why would they? Even though he's innocent, nothing's going to change. He's not getting Chelsea back. No, we absolutely know that to be the case that he's not getting back. But look, there's no release clause in Palmer's contract. There's believed to not be release clauses in the contracts, which obviously is good news, guys. Yeah, it does need one message, you know, and the message is change the model or leave. That's the message. So it is putting pressure on them to change the model. Otherwise, they need to leave the football club. But the aim is to get the model changed. If they refuse to do that, which they've already shown, but if they refuse after protests and whatnot, then the pressure will be applied to try and get them to potentially sell up. But that is a very difficult battle to fight. The easier battle to get is to influence them to change the model. So the message is, and it's come from Chelsea Forum, the Chelsea Forum account, which is one of the planners of the protest. Change the model, or you need to sell up. That's the reality of the situation. But look, it's good that there's no release clause in Cole Palmer's contract. That is good news, and that is exactly what we like to hear. Exactly what we like to hear. But yeah, guys, I am going to round this one out here. Big up to everyone that's tuned in tonight. Big love to everyone. It's all love at the end of the day. Even if we agree or disagree on things, we all want the best for Chelsea Football Club. Alex will be back tomorrow at lunchtime, I believe, with a 1 p.m. show. And then myself, Alex, and a couple of others will be back on the evening show. So make sure you stay tuned in for that content on the channel tomorrow, guys. If you enjoyed listening to what I had to say and you're not aware that I've got my own channel, then please do subscribe to my channel. I will put a link in the description, guys. Sorry, in the comments, in the chat now. If you've enjoyed what I've had to say, you've not checked out my personal channel, please do and subscribe. It would be greatly appreciated. Guys, we'll see you again tomorrow. Enjoy the Champions League game tonight. Enjoy the rest of your evening, whatever you're doing. Up the Chelsea, and we're out. Peace.